Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. Beginning with the suspect accused of killing UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson. He's fighting extradition to New York. Court documents show Luigi Mangione is charged with murder in New York, but for now, he's in Pennsylvania, where he faces gun charges. And while that court battle plays out, more's coming out about his views and his background. Amy Kiley has the latest.
I've never seen him upset or angry.
Acquaintances and writings are offering new insight into the suspect charged with murdering the UnitedHealthcare CEO. Multiple people who knew Luigi Mangione say he's bright and a fan of intellectual exchanges. An online blogger who corresponded with him repeatedly says he expressed varied political viewpoints. He says one of them was a belief in universal health care. Mangione's former roommate says they started a book club that, among other things, looked at the Unabomber's manifesto.
But nothing about it, I think, stood out more than other conversations that we had.
Most people who knew Mangione or his family seem surprised he's a murder suspect.
It just does not add up. It just seems a complete aberration.
I was just stunned, shocked, couldn't believe it. Not who you would think of at all.
Police also are reviewing writing they attribute to Mangione. They call a 3-page handwritten manifesto a, quote, claim of responsibility. A law enforcement source says they're also combing through a spiral notebook. In it, Mangione allegedly debates ways to kill someone. He reportedly rules out a bomb for fear of hurting innocent people.
He sort of says, in essence, what could be better than to, quote, kill the CEO at his own bean-counting conference?
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Closer to home, a lawsuit filed in Lancaster County is looking to block Nebraska's medical marijuana measures from becoming law. The plaintiff is John Keene. He initially challenged the ballot issue earlier this year. Now he's arguing the initiatives violate both state and federal constitutions. He claims the measures improperly delegate legislative authority to an unelected board and conflict with federal marijuana laws. Keene's filed an injunction. He's citing concerns over public health and safety. He also points to an opinion from Attorney General Mike Hilgers and past legal challenges from the group Nebraskans for Medical Marijuana as reasons to halt the measures. The city of Kearney has had the same mayor for 18 years, Stan Klaus. He was recently elected to the state legislature, so now members of the city council have been charged with electing the next leader of Kearney. Dave Greek takes us to that transfer of power.
It's time to turn it over to Brenda and new staff, and I feel very comfortable where the future of Kearney is going.
Klaus served for nearly 2 decades in his role as the president, seeing the community flourish.
You see how Kearney has grown and the kinds of things that we do, you know that there has to be strong leadership. So we're very grateful to Stan for everything he's done and all the sacrifices he's made.
Stan was incredibly humble, very gracious, enjoyed engaging people.
While his tenure was considered strong by his allies, Klaus had a new political venture in store after earning a 4-year term in Lincoln. Choosing from highly qualified candidates like Nicola, Moore, and Randy Bushcutter was no easy task for the new council.
That was a very intense discussion because there was more than one person who was interested in the mayoral seat. So we just, again, as a team, you've got to work it out. It was really important that the transition happened tonight and that it not drag on.
I nominate Jonathan Nicola for the president of the council.
For 18 years, almost 2 decades, Stan Klaus sat in this chair as the mayor of Kearney. Now, Jonathan Nicola takes over this role, but he's no stranger to the Kearney City Council because he's been a member for 12 of those years.
As someone that grew up in Kearney, born and raised, it's a real honor to be able to serve my community in this way. But one thing I know about the role of mayor in Kearney is that you're just one of 5.
Even with his team-first mentality, Nicola is now the highest-ranking member of the council, and he may bring a new style of guidance to the city.
He's very transparent. I think everybody knows that at the end of our meeting, he sits down and does a really detailed note that he puts into Facebook. So he's really good about letting everybody know what's going on.
We have 5 council members who all have amazing individual characteristics. Randy and Tammy in particular, and their many years of experience in the community and on council. It's been a real honor to serve with them.
The vote went 4-0 in favor of Nicola being named the new mayor. Reporting in Kearney, Dave Greek, News Channel Nebraska.
Well, winter has made its grand entrance. Freezing rain and snow fell in northeast Nebraska on Tuesday, while central Nebraska saw its first measurable snow of the season. The arrival of cold weather can bring challenges, but regional emergency managers assure us that with proper preparation, the season can be more manageable. Hanky Hazelton has more on how to gear up for the winter ahead.
Probably the biggest thought that I would have on this would be to get your car ready. Make sure your tires inflated appropriately. Make sure you have a rescue emergency kit in your trunk. Have it to a mechanic and make sure all the fluid levels are up appropriately. Make sure your car is functioning correctly. Maybe have a tune-up. All those types of deals to make sure your car is running 100% well.
Well, having your car up to date is something everyone should consider taking to have appropriately looked over. You should also consider items to keep you warm or well nourished in case you were to be stranded.
Blankets, water, non-perishable food, just in case you happen to get stuck or go off the road, and it takes rescuers a little bit of time to get there.
In the moment you are stuck or even get a little frustrated, Bobby says do not panic because panicking doesn't help anyone solve a proper solution.
Dial 911 and the rescuers will get to you as soon as possible. If you're at all concerned, stay on the line with the dispatcher and she'll guide you through it.
Last but not least, whether you are traveling a long way or even a short distance, always remember to carry medicine.
People don't think about having emergency prescriptions and that type of deal, emergency baby items. So if we all just have some preparation in mind, we can get through it safely and a little bit warmly.
In Norfolk, Hanky Hazelton, News Channel Nebraska.
An important stretch of road in southeast Nebraska could finally be getting some much-needed renovations, but officials there aren't giving the green light until they get more assurances. Tim Hackett is behind the wheel of this story in Jefferson County.
Drivers on the PWF road between Fairbury and Diller can expect to see speed reductions in the next few weeks and full-on road reconstruction in the next few months. About half a dozen years ago, the Fairbury side of this well-traveled road was reconstructed, and everything still runs smoothly until PWF intersects with 575th Avenue, a few miles west of Highway 103 in Diller. At that point, there's a decided drop-off in road quality, with plenty of patches and other blemishes that have cropped up across the miles and over the years. That causes hazardous conditions for drivers of all kinds of vehicles, especially for those with bigger payloads. The speed limit through most all of the PWF road is 55 miles per hour, but the Jefferson County Highway Department says that in the next few weeks, that will be dropped to 40 miles per hour for a stretch of 7 to 8 miles to help prevent issues and increase safety. That slowdown will persist until the construction is complete. The county is advising commuters to be cautious when driving through the area now and asking for patience when driving through the area once construction eventually begins.
But this week, news arrived that might place some potential potholes on the pathway towards any reconstruction plans. County officials thought they received news on Tuesday morning that their long-awaited environmental study had been completed, which would have given them the green light to move forward on the first stages of those renovation plans. But it turns out that's not yet the case, meaning any updates on a potential start date will have to wait.
That invoice from Olson and the NDOT covers the full cost of the environmental study operation, even though it's still in process. A total which the Jefferson County Commissioners fairly refused to front until they're able to see some full results.
You know, we're trying to be responsible managers of our taxpayer funds, right? We are elected officials trying to accomplish that objective. And for us to pay $44,000 for work that has not been completed yet, I mean, that flies in the face of what we're trying to accomplish as elected officials.
When that study is finally completed, the county and the highway department would then have the green light to begin the first phases of the road renovation plan, which they're hoping to begin in earnest in the middle of next year. In Fairbury, Tim Hackett, News Channel Nebraska.
And Nebraska's government is saying thanks to its oldest military veterans. Governor Jim Pillen visited the Central Nebraska Veterans Home in Kearney on Tuesday as part of his administration's efforts to recognize all living World War II veterans in Nebraska. 5 World War II veterans and 1 widow were part of the ceremony on Tuesday.
Everything that all of us have is because of the greatest generation. We don't have a lot left, but the ones that are here, it's important that we hear their stories, we say thank you, and we keep their stories alive for generations to come.
Each veteran received a medallion that said, "On behalf of a grateful state, thank you for your service," on one side. The other side declared 80 years since victory in World War II. The veterans thankful but understated in accepting the honor.
We just did what we had to do. We'd be in a lot different situation if we hadn't have done it. We saved the world, I think.
And veterans can still apply to receive a medal. They and their families can apply at veterans.nebraska.gov. In the meantime, you can stay up to date with the very latest by visiting us online. Head to newschannelnebraska.com, click on the News tab there. You can also follow us on X, like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. This is News Channel Nebraska.